Gooseberries, Anton Chekhov, B2 Level. It was a rainy day in the Russian countryside. Two tired men, Ivan Ivanich, a veterinary doctor, and his friend, Birkin, a schoolteacher, were walking through muddy fields. The rain became heavier, and the road harder to walk. They decided to take shelter in the house of another friend, Alyoshin, who lived in a large country estate. Alyoshin, wearing wet and dirty work clothes, welcomed them. He gave them dry clothes, served them hot tea, and they all sat together. The smell of fresh tea filled the room, and the sound of rain came through the windows. The atmosphere became calm and warm. In this moment, Ivan began to tell a story about his brother, Nikolai. From a young age, Nikolai had one strong dream: to own land in the countryside, build a big house, and plant gooseberry bushes in his garden. This dream guided his entire life. But to reach it, Nikolai lived with extreme saving. He was strict with himself, and even stricter with his wife. They ate simple food, bought no good clothes, and gave up joy and comfort. Even when his wife became ill and later died from the hard life, Nikolai never gave up his dream. His only goal was saving money. Years passed. Nikolai grew older, but finally he bought land, built a house, and planted his gooseberry bushes. One day, Ivan visited him. With pride and joy, Nikolai picked gooseberries and offered them to his brother. Ivan ate them and realized they were sour and unpleasant. But Nikolai smiled and repeated, "What a paradise! What a wonderful life!" He was lost in his own world, believing he had found happiness. Ivan, watching his brother, felt something strange. His brother's happiness seemed like an illusion. Nikolai had convinced himself he was in paradise. But in reality, this paradise was built on sacrifices: his wife's life, his own youth, and even his freedom. Ivan continued his story with sadness. When I saw my brother so satisfied in his narrow, closed world, I felt fear. I was afraid that happiness, which thinks only of itself, is nothing but self-deception. Happiness must not be only for yourself, because sooner or later it will stand on the suffering of others. You cannot close your eyes to the pain of other people and still call yourself happy. He confessed that every time he thought about this, he wanted to run into the streets and knock on doors, shouting, "People, you are lying! Your life is full of suffering and injustice. We must do something." When Ivan finished speaking, the room became silent. Only the sound of rain on the roof could be heard. Birkin said nothing. Alyoshin lowered his head. Both were lost in their own thoughts. Ivan's words remained in the air, like a warning, planting seeds of worry in their hearts. Chekhov tells a simple story, but behind the simplicity lies a strong critique of happiness. Personal happiness. Nikolai thought he had reached his dream, but his happiness was false, like someone convincing himself he is in heaven while ignoring the heavy price. Social responsibility. Ivan reminds us that we cannot close our eyes to the suffering of others. True happiness has value only when it includes awareness of others' lives. Self-deception. People can lie to themselves, eat sour gooseberries and still say they are sweet. But this false joy is built on denial and forgetting. Chekhov shows us a bitter truth. Real happiness is not only in personal dreams and private comfort. When we ignore the suffering around us, we are living in a false paradise.